Karaṇīya Metta Sutta. The third stanza. Nacha khuddam samācare kinchi yena viñño pare upavadeyum sukhino akemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitanta. A monk, early in the morning, having risen up from his sleep, he went to have a body wash, to the nearby lake. This lake is full of lotuses, and the fragrance of lotuses were spreading everywhere. So he wanted to enjoy this fragrance. So he took a long breath of this fragrant air to his lungs. When he took this fragrance air to his lungs and enjoying it, suddenly he heard somebody shouting, "Thief, thief, thief." He inquired around and he found nobody. Then he understood this is a deva, a deity is shouting. He ignored this sound and he again took a deep breath of this fragrance of lotuses. Again he heard this sound, the thief, thief, thief. Then he was curious and he inquired, "Who is this?" Then the deva who was shouting this thief, thief appeared in front of him. Monk asked, "Why are you making such a noise? Who are you calling a thief to?" Deva said, "I am calling you, monk, a thief." Then the monk asked, "What did I steal? Why did you call me thief?" "You stole the fragrance of the lotuses. That is why I call you a thief." It is not something valuable to steal. It is not belong to anyone. It is just an air. It is just an air surrounding us. Anybody can smell it. I just took a long breath. Then you call me a thief. This is very unfair. Then the monk said, "When a virtuous one make even a slight mistake, wrongdoing, even a little bit of wrongdoing appears like a big, enormous crime. When an unvirtuous one does even a bigger crime, we don't care much, we don't worry much. But when a virtuous one does even a little bit of crime, we care about them much. We want to correct them much. That is why, monk, I want to stop you that stealing. You did not ask the permission. You did not get the permission from the lotus. Without getting permission, you stole that sweet smell, that fragrance. This story is very much relevant to the idea of this verse. Vinyu. Vinyu is the person who is wise. In front of a wise person, you have to be genuine. In front of the wise person, you cannot maintain a character. Among the others, among the other worldlings, you can maintain a character. We are very good at maintaining character. In the workplace, one type of character, one mask. At home, you wear another mask. In the temple, you wear another mask, serene, beautiful mask. With the boss, another mask. With the worker, another mask. You are carrying a lorry load full of masks to wear in all those places according to the places. Characters, maintaining characters. But in front of a wise person, in front of a person who is like a mirror, your true character, your true individuality will be reflected. You cannot maintain a character. Character is a bogus one. We know only the character, we do not know our individuality. In front of a wise person, in front of a Buddha, your individuality is reflected. That individuality must be immaculate. Otherwise, Buddha will know, the wise one will know. When you go to a Buddha, in front of the Buddha, once you appear, your past is known to the Buddha. Your present is known to the Buddha. And your future will be known. Your present represents all the past and future. You cannot hide anything. You can deceive anyone, but not the Buddha. In front of the Buddha, you have to be an individual. You have to be genuine, truthful. You can be deceitful, you can be deceiving any other in the world, but not the Buddha. So going to a Buddha is a dangerous thing. Your character will be destroyed in front of the Buddha. So Vinyu in this stanza, in this verse, is the Buddha or the wise one. Buddha says, Nacha khuddhang samachare yena vinyu pare upavateyu. Khuddhang, even a little mistake, even a little violence, even a little weaknesses must not be practiced. Samachare, na samachare, should not be activated, formulated, practiced. Even a little violence should not be formulated, practiced. What is violence? Violence is to be practiced either to yourself or to the others. Since you are violent towards yourself, you can be violent towards others. How can you be violent towards yourself? When you get angry, Your anger is the violence towards yourself. How uncomfortable you are when you are angry. How sad you are when you are angry. How difficult your life becomes with your anger. You are violent towards yourself. Then your violence cannot contain anymore. You have to direct that violence to somebody else. When you are unhappy, you cannot contain that unhappiness further. You have to push that unhappiness to somebody else. Only an unhappy person can make another unhappy. Not a happy person. A happy man cannot make another unhappy. A happy man can only make somebody happy. So you have unhappiness, that means you are violent towards yourself. That violence cannot go longer and longer towards yourself. You have to direct at somebody else. So first you be violent towards yourself. Then your violence will be directed to others. Buddha says, do not practice even a little bit of violence towards either yourself or towards others. That is what the meaning. Nacha khuddam samachare. That violence will be upavadeyum, blemish, will be blamed by the vinyu, the wise one. The wise one will be blaming your violence. Don't practice that violence, either towards yourself. Of course, if you are violent towards yourself, nobody blames you. If you get angry and suffer, nobody blames you. Only when you are violent towards others, people will blame you. But though the violence towards yourself harms nobody, it harms you. So still it is blemish. Still it is blameworthy. Buddha says, don't even be violent to yourself. Nacha khuddam samachare. Yena vinyo parayupavadeyo. Don't practice even a little bit of violence, which are blameworthy by the wise. Because in front of the wise, in front of the mirror of the wise, your blemishness will appear. You cannot be genuine. You cannot look straight at the Buddha with that violence within you. Because you are blemish, you are blameworthy, you are not pure. You cannot contain any metta. You cannot contain because your whole being is filled with anger, jealousy, measurements, desires, defilements. When you are full of defilements, how can you contain metta? How can you have any kind of metta? Because when you are violent towards yourself, how can you have any wish for others to be happy, for others to be joyful, for others to be well? First, you must be well. You must be non-violent towards yourself. You must be joyful first. You must be happy first. You must be happy unto yourself. Then only you can have this wish. Sukhino vakhe mino hontu sabbe sattha bhavantu sukhitanta. Sabbe sattha, may all beings, sabbe sattha, sukhino, be well, be happy. Kemino, fearless. Be fearless. Bhavantu sukhitatta. Be the people of happiness. May they bear happiness. Sukhitatta, bear happiness. Bhavantu sukhitatta, may they bear happiness. This kind of wish, genuine wish, that genuine wish happens only when you found yourself within yourself. That well-being, that fearlessness, that happiness within you. You can give to the world only what you have within you. If you don't have that well-being within you, if you don't have that happiness within you, if you don't have that contentment, that joy within you, how can you give happiness to the world? How can you wish? How can you have a genuine wish? May all beings be the bearers of happiness. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. May all beings be the bearers of happiness. May they be sukhino, may they be well and happy. Kemino, may they be fearless. You have to change yourself first. This is the meaning of the third stanza. Buddha may know, the wise one may know whether you are really genuinely inside you, in your inner being, in your individuality, whether you are genuinely happy, whether you are genuinely blameless, or whether you are blameworthy. Buddha says, you have to be genuine in your own heart, in your inner being. That genuineness must be with the non-violence towards yourself and towards others. Buddhism rejects. Buddhism do not accept being violent towards yourself. If you are suffering, if you are creating your body suffering or your mind suffering, Buddhism doesn't accept. If you are creating conditions for yourself to be suffering, then you are being violent towards yourself. You can go to the extremes of Atta Kilamatana Yoga. That is the self-torturing, self-tormenting. Those days people practice, even today in India, they practice as a method of getting rid of suffering. Creating suffering for themselves, they try to get rid of suffering. Buddha says it doesn't work that way. You are being violent towards yourself. Attam tapa, that person tortures himself. You are not the practitioner of Dhamma if you torture yourself. So get rid of ways and means of torturing yourself, being violent towards yourself. People will respect. If a monk especially, if he is violent towards himself, people respect. How? If a monk living a most difficult life with little bit of things, even without the basic necessaries, in a deep forest, somewhere in Indonesia, even from here you will go looking for him to worship, to respect. Why? Because he is being so violent towards himself. When you are violent towards yourself, you become a sadhu, you become a noble, You become a Mahatma. You become a Bhagavan. In India it happens. Still today they practice it. But Buddha says, being violent towards the body will never make you noble. Only you are becoming torturous. Only you are becoming sadist. That's all. Then the rest, the other side, being violent towards others, param-tapa. When you are only self-centered, when you only think about your well-being, your happiness, your joy, you don't care about others, you don't have any concern about others' happiness, others' well-being, naturally you are torturing others. You cannot be self-centered and only think about yourself. When you only think about yourself unknowingly, without your knowledge, you are creating suffering for others. Then your life is blemish. Then your life cannot have an avatar of love. An avatar of love. An avatar of metta. Cannot contain. So Buddha says, become a container of metta. To become a container of metta, you must be non-violence. Non-violent towards yourself, towards others. That is the meaning of the Nacha Kuddam Samachare. In a way, it is explaining the dividing of Kama Sukhalikana Yoga and Atta Kilamatana Yoga, avoiding the two extremes of self-gratification and self-torturing. That's a great Dhamma hidden in this verse. Okay, we go to the next stanza. The next stanza and subsequently next one explaining about the beings that can be living in the world. Ye ke chipana bhutati tasava tavarava anavasesa dighavaye mahantava majjimaras kanuka dhula. Now, in this verse, let's start with Yeke Chipana Bhutati. Pana means, you know about Anapana Sati. Anapana Sati. Pana means breathing. A being is a one who breathes. Whatever being in the world exists, that being is somebody who breathes. When the breathing happens, that whatever it is, it becomes a living being. Pana is also breathing and also the life. There are several meanings. Yeke chipana bhutati. Bhuta, arisen, organized, created. If there is something organized, something collected, accumulated, which is breathing, that's the meaning. If there is something accumulated, and that accumulated thing is breathing, that being can be, first one, tasava. Tasava means moving. Beings who are moving. whatever beings in the world exist, the first type of beings are the ones who are moving, tasava. There is a deep meaning in the commentaries. They say tasava means the beings who are unenlightened. Unenlightened beings are always shaking with the defilements, with the klesha. They are not static, they are not strong, they are moved by the defilements. So tasava explains as the beings who are unenlightened. We all belong to that category. Beings who are moving in general, and also beings who are unenlightened. Tasava. Next one is Thavarava. Beings who are not moving. Beings who are static. Not moving at all. In the general sense, there are beings like that, right? Oysters, they don't move, right? But even the oysters have enemies, though they don't move. The beings who are not moving. But in the deeper sense, commentary says, Thavarava are the ones who are enlightened, non-shaken or unshaken by the defilements. Defilements are the ones defilements are the powers that shake us, cannot be static, cannot be permanent. You are shaken by the defilements, by the klesha, by the cankas. So, tasava, in general sense, the meaning is the beings who are being moved or moving beings. In the deeper sense, beings who are not enlightened. Thavarava are the ones who are enlightened, or the beings who are static, not moving. In the general world, general sense, if you can take the beings who are not moving, as the example is the oysters. Oysters don't move, but they exist. We take them as living beings. They are not objects. They are not born in this world to become your food. They are living beings, but they are not moving. Thavarava. In the deeper sense, they are the arahants, enlightened masters. They are not moved by the defilements. The world can be two types according to this tasava, thavarava. Then all beings are included, right? Now Buddha continue with the other explanation, other categories. Dighava, the beings who have long bodies, snakes, generally, reptiles. Beings who have long bodies, dighava. Ye mahantava. Mahantava means beings who have a very big, enlarged, enormous bodies. Hippopotamus, elephant. Beings who have very big physicalities. Mahantava. Majjhima. Smaller type of beings like dogs, deer, smaller physicalities. Majjhima. Rasa, very small. Majjhima means medium size. Rasa means very small ants, small creatures, bugs. Rasa, Khanuka Tula, Khanuka. Khanuka means microscopic beings, which can be found only with a magnifying glass. With beings who are very small, even can be living in the body. Yeah? That type of smallest, invisible type of beings, almost invisible type of beings. Tula, Tula means fat, round shaped beings like tortoise, turtles, round shaped beings. These are the types of beings Buddha says, including all inclusive. No one is exclusive. Not only that, Dittava, the beings you have seen. There are 1,001 beings in the world we have not yet seen. Even doesn't exist in the zoos. You cannot find these beings. Dittava, the ones who have seen. Yeva Dittha, and also the beings who have not seen. The beings who have seen are a little number, but the beings who have not seen are always in larger numbers. Unimaginably different beings are existing in this world. Once a scientist, he dug a pit 10 feet wide, 10 feet depth, took out all the soil, and he investigated this soil to the minute level, to the deepest level. He checked this soil and he said, in this heap of soil exists the number of beings more than the human population in the world today. Can you imagine the number of beings exist in the world? All these beings are no other than the beings who are changing their forms, their physicalities from life to life. From a small ant to an elephant, from a human being to a deva. All beings are changing their forms from lifetime to lifetime. One day, Buddha was going on a walk. He was having a walk. Venerable Ananda was behind. Suddenly Buddha stopped. Then Venerable Ananda asked Buddha, Lord, why did you suddenly stop and smile? Buddha says, look at this line of ants. Do you know, Ananda? There were millionaires in the former lives. Now they are ants in this life. There were kings in their former lives, but now today they are ants in this ant line. Human beings, thousands of human beings those days, now they are ants now. Understand the danger of the samsara. Samsara is very dangerous. You will be gone down to the level of ants in the immediate next life. It is a quantum jump. It is not a gradual declining. Quantum jump. Human to ant. You will be changed. Buddha says, be careful. Do what you have to do now itself. Samsara is very dangerous. all sorts of beings. Dittava, the beings who have seen, are dittava, beings you have never seen. Yecha dure vasanti avidure. Yecha dure vasanti, those who are living in a very far away. Now, if we are here, avidure, those who are nearby. We are living nearby now. Those who are far away, yecha dure vasanti. Those who live in the far, dure, far, vasanti, live. Avidure, those who are living in the here, now, at the present, closer to you, those beings. Bhutava sambhavesiva. Bhutava, those who are already formulated, those who have already formed, taken birth. Bhutava, we all, Bhuta. Sambhavesiva. Now, this is a very argumentative word in Buddhism. Yeah? Sambhavesiva. Some say Sambhavesiva are the ones who are waiting to be born in the intermediate realm. Sambhavesiva. Some argue saying that Sambhavesiva are the beings who are waiting to be born in the intermediate realm. But remember, Theravada Buddhism do not agree with the idea that after your death there is an intermediate realm that you wait until your rebirth happens. No acceptance in the Theravada Buddhism. Okay? We do not wait for the next birth. If a stone is thrown to the sky, there is a place on this earth for that stone to fall down. We do not wait looking for the place. We are just born. We did not have a choice. We were not given any chance to select the place where we are going to be born. If we are given a chance to select, we would have selected a better place, right? Not in Klang anyway. Yeah, we would have selected a better place somewhere. We are not given a better place. We are not given a chance to select that. The birth is just accidental. It just happened. It just happened. Not given a chance. So, cannot be a waiting room somewhere in the above for the rebirth to happen. So, Theravada Buddhism do not accept that there is an waiting room, intermediate realm, until the rebirth happened. The rebirth just happened. So, Sambhavesiva are the beings who are being formulating, the fetus. The fetus. You have to be loving, you have to do metta for that also. The beings who are in the eggs, not the eggs of the farm, eggs which have the life. There are two types of eggs. Eggs which are taken by the farm. Those eggs are not containing any life. But there are eggs in the, we say in our words, the village eggs, where the fetus can live, where the beings, which eggs those can be hatched, fertilized eggs, right? So those fertilized eggs can be Sambhavesiva. Fetus can be Sambhavesiva. All these beings, now everything is inclusive. Moving, unmoving, tasava, thavarava. Anavasesa, which are non-related to this. Digahavaye Mahantava, long physicalities, Mahantava, huge physicalities, Majjhima, medium size, Rasa, smaller size, Khanuka, minute, very little, almost invisible type, and Thula, round shaped. That is according to the size. Then Ditta, the beings who have seen, Aditta, beings who have not seen. Dure Vasanti, beings who are living in far away to you. Nati Dhure or Avidhure, beings who are living nearby to you. Bhutava, beings who are already born, taken birth. Sambhave Siva, waiting to be taken birth, in the sense already formulating as the fetus or a fertilized eggs. All these beings, now nobody is exclusive, all beings are inclusive. All these beings, Buddha says, for all these beings, develop your love towards them. Sabbe Sattha, may all these beings, Bhavantu Sukhitanta, be the people of happiness, be the beings of happiness. Bhavantu Sukhitanta. May they contain, may they bear happiness. But it is a sequence. In the first two verses we explain what kind of temperament, what kind of consciousness you have to develop. Then today we talk about that Buddha says you must be really non-violence first. Practice non-violence. That means you must have a perfect Sīla. Sīla in your heart and Sīla in your physicality. Not only your physical level, verbal level is controlled, but your heart also controlled by the Sīla. Then you become completely non-violent. When you are completely non-violent, you become innocent. Only such an innocent person can have the genuine wish for all these beings to be well and happy. That is the meaning of the other two lines. Then this is the wish of you or your wish. Your wish for others to be well and happy. Then the second wish is, may others do not have wish of ill willness, wish of ill will. May others have the wish of love. May others have love in their hearts, not the anger, not the hatred. That is the next line. Naparo param nikubbet nati manyet katachinam kanche vyarosana patigha sanya nanya manyas dukkha minchaya. Naparo param, one to another, other to another, paro param. Okay? One to another. Nikubbheta, may not deceive. One may not deceive another. A deceiving person, a person who destroys others with the deceiving, a person who cannot have an avatar of metta, a person who practices love, practice metta, can never deceive anyone. with anything. So Buddha says, may one not deceive another. Naparo parang nikubbeta. Nati manyeta katta chinang kanchi. Katta chinang kanchi. Whatsoever, in whatsoever way, katta chinang kanchi. Na atimanyeta. May one despise another in whatsoever way. Look down upon another. Humiliate another in whatsoever way. May not one deceive another. May not one look down upon another in whatsoever way. Deceiving and looking down upon, despising others. Biharo sana patigha sanya. Why it happened? If somebody look down upon another, if somebody deceive another, because of what? Because of patigha sanya, because of anger. Angry person is the one who can do these things. Angry towards what? Angry towards others' well-being. Angry towards others' happiness. Patigha sanya, the person who has this sanya, the angry, the animosity, the hatred within his heart, that person can create suffering for another easily. But Buddha says, now Buddha is not talking about the person who is being deceived, the person who is being looked down upon. Buddha is talking about the person who does the crime, the person who is angry, the person who has anger in his heart. That person is really suffering. That person doesn't know what he is doing. That person is blind. Anger is a blindfold. When you are angry, you do not know what you are doing. That is the nature of anger. That is the action of the anger. Only you regret after the action done, after your anger gone, then you start regretting. Who is more pitiful? The person who got the deceivement, or the person who got the look down upon? In the same way, the person who suffers because of their anger, others' anger, in the same way, the person who is angry, he suffers here and he suffers hereafter. If somebody deceives you, you will suffer here. But the person who deceives you will suffer here because his regret, and hereafter because of his karma. That person also pitiful. That person also should be pitied. Should come into our circle of metta. That person must open his eyes. He thinks that he is creating suffering for others. Actually, what he does is he is creating suffering for himself. He should be pitied. He should be in the area, in the aura of our metta. He should not be despised. He should not be thrown away, because he is going to suffer more here and hereafter. The victim suffers only here. The criminal, the one who does the crime, suffers here and hereafter both. Here with the regrets, hereafter with the following of his own karma. Biharo sana patigha sanya. Nānyamanyassa dukkhamicchaya. So, Buddha says, you must not ichchaya, you must not be longing, you must not be wishing, you must not be aspiring. Ichchaya. Nānyamanyassa dukkha. You must not wish the suffering of one another. Anyamanyassa. You must not wish the suffering of one another. You have to control your anger. You have to subdue your anger, ill will, hatred, and you must not wish the suffering of the other, because you are generating more suffering for yourself. This is the idea of this line. Buddha's concept is very clear. Not only the victim, but also the culprit or the criminal must be encompassed in our love, into the metta. He must be helped more. Not the victim only, the culprit, the criminal also helped, must be helped. He must be in our aura of love. That is the idea of this line. Okay? That's enough for today. Sadhu.